Easy rewards, 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 easy rewards.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen, amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. As-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Rasulallah, as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Habiballah, as-salatu wassalamu alayka ya Nabiyallah, wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Nurallah. It's mentioned, dear viewers on Madani Channel, that the best of creation and the most beautiful creation, the leader of all the prophets, the intercessor of the Ummah, the one who Allah Azza wa Jalla loves the most, none other than the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam. He has said, and indeed whatever he says is the haqq, is the truth. He mentions that the one who recites salat upon me 10 times in the morning and 10 times in the evening will be granted my intercession on the day of judgment. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers on Madani Channel, and we look at the intentions that one can have for naming a child also. Subhanallah. So that's the very first thing. You know, whenever we name our child, you have to name your child. This is again something normal. It's formality, you could say, that people think that, you know what, I have to name the child. Of course, it's a very special occasion, and a lot of people do, feel that speciality, you could say, that this is my child, I'm going to name it, I'm not just going to name it anything, I'm going to look at, the best names I can possibly find, and try to talk to the righteous people and get them to name my child. But unfortunately, there are still a lot of people who name their child not for the sake of Allah and His Rasul, but they look at celebrities, actors, people who they want the child to be like because they themselves are indulged in the dunya, and they look at celebrities and sportsmen and actors and all these kind of people who are away from the deen basically. So these two things come together. That are you naming your child for the sake of Allah and His Rasul? Okay, if you say that I'm bad, I'm sinful, I'm like this and I'm like that, look, we're never going to be perfect. But if you go with this intention that I'm like this, and so what, so be it, I'm going to name my child, or whoever I've been following, this sports star, football star, celebrity or actor, whatever, somebody who's away from the deen, then we go into the third intention. The third negative is that, do you want your child to be like that? Remember, there's a hadith mentioning that the one who you love, you will be with him on the day of judgment. Now, you might love a certain somebody. You've named your child after that disbeliever. You've not only named him after the disbeliever, the reason why you named it is not for the sake of Allah, but now it's also to follow this person. And what is that person doing? 9 times out of 10, it's an actor. It's somebody whose movies or, interviews or videos are being published worldwide, and there's haram content in there. Not only is he showing the world he's haram, not only is he showing the world, the words of disbelief he may have committed or he may have said, but now all the world, due to him, who are changing their beliefs, are also committing haram, losing their iman, and so on and so forth. You can understand, dear viewers on Madani Channel, how many doors are opening here towards the hellfire. So not only that, we look at, you're not naming your son for the sake of Allah, or your daughter for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. So you don't, madallah wa a'udhu billah, it doesn't seem nice to say, but you're not there to please Allah and His Rasul. You don't want your child to please Allah and His Rasul. So that's why you named him after such and such person who's a disbeliever. Not only you've named him, now you want him to follow that person, because that's why you name him. Not only that, you look at the blessed hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who you love, dear viewers on Madani Channel, you will be with them on the day of judgment. And Allah na kare, if we're with the disbelievers, madallah wa a'udhu billah, Allah save us from this. I do dua that it's the month of Ramadan, that we enabled to name our children after the best of creation, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, naming them Muhammad if it's a boy, or naming them after the family, or the pious awliya kiram. But this is a different topic. But I make intention that bottom line is that we are with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the Day of Judgment, and we love him truly, to gain the pleasure of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. You know, that's why we love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We love worshipping Allah, we love following the pious people. You know, I do dua that on the Day of Judgment we're with them. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So the first thing we should think is, you know, thank Allah Azza wa Jal, Alhamdulillah, recite not, praise the Prophet Muhammad also, and think to yourself that I am going to name my child for the sake of Allah and His Rasul, to gain their pleasure. Then the second intention, dear viewers of Madani Channel, because we link them all together, the second intention is, you know, I'm going to please Allah and His Rasul. How? By naming my child, and it's mentioned here, by choosing one of the names that have been preferred in the blessed ahadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. So it talks about those names that have been preferred in the blessed ahadith. Dear viewers on Madani Channel, if I ask you to name me, you know, 5 or 6 superstars, actors, sportsmen on the top of your head, easily, if you just sit there and think, don't say this, just think to yourself, you know, 5. I'm just giving you a target of 5. I'm very sure, very, very sure, 99.9% who are watching right now, they will be able to name easily 5 sportsmen, celebrities, all this mixed together. And then if I ask you to name me just 2 blessed names, or 3 blessed names, not even 5, dear viewers of Madani Channel. Okay, let's make it 1 blessed name that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has blessed, you know, preferred in his blessed ahadith. I'm not saying that name me a name that is special. That's not what I'm saying, dear viewers of Madani Channel. It says here that you will choose the name. This is one of the intentions to make. Choose one of the names that have been preferred in the blessed ahadith. That means the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he himself has told, you know, this name is a good name. This name I like. It is somewhere in the blessed ahadith. But do we know this? Just one name, dear viewers of Madani Channel, where the Prophet Muhammad liked. And you know, a lot of us sitting there, you could say that we don't know. That's the question, dear viewers of Madani Channel. So you know, when we have intentions to name our child, 1, we're naming them for the sake of Allah and Rasul. But if we truly are naming for the sake of Allah and Rasul, it's like a chain. If we are doing it for Allah and His Rasul, then we should also surely know that what Allah and His Rasul like. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Another intention, dear viewers of Madani Channel, about, you know, how you can name your child, who you can name your child. Remember the negatives I mentioned about, you know, is it for the sake of Allah, you know, and then who are you naming your child after, and then whoever you name your child after, you want them to be like that most likely. It's mentioned here that instead of naming my child after a film actor, like I said, a sportsman, etc., I will receive the blessings by naming my child after the Prophets alayhimussalatu wassalam, the blessed Sahaba, radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, or the awliya Allah, the blessed saints of Allah rahimahumullahu ta'ala, so as to get the blessings of attribution. Subhanallah, subhanallah, subhanallah. Say subhanallah, dear viewers of Madani Channel, because 1 tree will be planted for you in Jannah. And say Allahu Akbar, dear viewers of Madani Channel, 1 tree will also be planted for you in Jannah. Say La ilaha illallah, subhanallah, Allahu Akbar. Any of these you say, dear viewers of Madani Channel, 1 tree will be planted for you in Jannah, just for you, alhamdulillah azza wa jal. And imagine how much rewards you must be getting. But look at this intention. Why am we saying subhanallah, Allahu Akbar? We're expressing happiness on good news. This is also a good intention, dear viewers of Madani Channel. What's the good news? That, you know, instead of you naming your child after somebody who, you know, is away from the deen, an actor, a sportsman, etc., I will receive. This is clear proof. What will happen when you name your child after the blessed prophets, the blessed Sahaba, the awliya Allah? You will receive blessings by naming that child. And then what will happen? To get the blessings of attribution. Subhanallah. So dear viewers of Madani Channel, if possible, name your child a special name, not just any name. One, purely for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. And two, not only you naming your child for the sake of Allah and His Rasul. How? You can't just name your child for the sake of Allah and His Rasul and then give him a name attributed to an actor. You love an actor, you want your son to be like that. No, it doesn't work like that. If you truly want to do it for Allah and His Rasul, then pick a name that has been blessed by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that he himself has preferred in the blessed ahadith, or one of the pious saints, the prophets, or the awliya Allah, or the Sahaba Ikram. And then three, knowing that there will be callings on the Day of Judgment as to why you've named your child, and those certain names could end up going to Jannah just for naming. Why? Because your name is attributed, your child's name is attributed to a special saint. Not only that, your child is following in the footsteps. Not only that, your child is also getting a connection with that awliya Allah, with that Sahaba, or with that Prophet. Alhamdulillah. Because at the end of the day, you've named your child because you love this Prophet, you love this Sahaba, you love this awliya Allah, and you want your child to follow that. I just want to mention, on one final point, one final intention as to naming your child. If possible, it's mentioned here, a third and final intention. If possible, I will try to ask the Islamic scholars to name my child as well. And this is also, mashallah, barakat and blessings for you and your child as well. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, unfortunately, yet again, we have come to an end of this episode, this silsila called Easy Towards Asan Nekiya. And inshallah, Azawajal, in the next episode, keep watching Madani Channel, keep watching different silsila, and keep watching this silsila called Easy Towards, where we learn about our daily activities and we try to gain reward with every single thing that we do, especially in this beautiful month of Ramadan. As majority of the days have gone now, more than half have gone, let's try to make a final effort to not only watch Madani Channel, not only refrain from haram, but also start doing the good as well. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
Easy.